so that I can click on go live. So it's sharing now. So if you go to the YouTube channel, it's live. Um, Let me check on my hand. Let's search for Inspire. It's showing that you're live. I can see it. I can see it. Sorry. So I'm going to share it on the side. Share audio. It's an issue with your audio. I hear static sound as if you were going to speak or something, but then I don't hear anything.
Hello, hello, hello,
I
hello.
can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, let's begin.
All right. So are you going to upload the record this and then tell your mentee to go and watch it? Because I don't think she's here now.
Yeah, she's not here, but she'll be able to see this on the YouTube channel, right? Do I still need to
Yeah, she
record
will
it?
see it.
I should record it too.
No, no need to record it. It's going to be on the YouTube channel, so she can always go there to watch it.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, so welcome to game development class. Sorry for the delay in audio and other things. So last class we talked about programming, a little on programming, and we're able to write the script for our player character here and the collectible which were made to rotate at I believe 30 frames per second. Yes, that's correct. So let's just go into play mode and see what we did in the last class as a review. Great. So you can move this player around. We can't jump yet, so probably we're going to do that in today's class. And we have a collectible here that is spinning. You can see it's much clearer here in our scene view. Spinning at 30 frames per second. Great. So today we're going to continue with the programming. We're going to allow the character to collect the collectible and then you're going to see some visual animation. Yeah. So let's get into that. Exit play mode. So right now, as you saw, the collectible, when we interacted with it, this gem here, to our player, it was like a rock. We couldn't pass through it. So collecting it might be an issue now. So the reason for this is because of our collider objects here. Okay. Collider objects help you to act like a physical material. And just like you have in real life where you can pick up a stone and other stuff. It's like a wall and we cannot pass through it, collect it. It's like an immovable rock. It won't budge when the player collides with it at full speed. And even if we increase our speed here, we're going to only just knock the player over. So, like say, what we need to set up the collectible, which is this gem here, in such a way that the player can pass through it without any visible collision, or bump. Now we can achieve this by what we call we're using a property called its trigger. And its trigger property of the collider component here. This is it. Okay. Now when you tell a collider component to act as a trigger instead of a physical collider, which no longer have a solid barrier, but will still detect entry by the player or other game objects using what we call a trigger zone. So now trigger collider makes an object act like a cloud, more like a cloud, just to give you a little context. Now, even though it looks solid like this, and you'll see in a few minutes, even though it just looks solid like this, you play any other game object can pass through it. But like I said before, it would know what has gone through it. So let's fix this. To come over here, click this trigger. Very simple. Just click on it, and then let's enter play mode to test again. See what happens. Okay, so move back. Hold on. Let's adjust our camera because we cannot see. Sorry, let's adjust the camera so we're able to see. Right now, this is what we can see. I go here by clicking this. Okay. We need to adjust the camera so we're able to see the collectible even before we start, or rather at the start of it. Come here, main camera. Remember, it's under our player object, the child, because we needed it to inherit position, direct, and rotation, possibly scale to off the player. Okay, so that when player is moving, the camera will follow it around. Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so let's adjust it a bit. Rotation with E. You can click E or get your rotation to. Bring it this way. You can still see it. So let's take it up. W for your move to. And then let's see. Yeah, you can see it now. Let's play and see what happens when we interact with it. Great. Now you can see that we can pass through it easily. It doesn't longer have all those physical properties that prevents us from passing through it. Now we can pass through the collider easily. The next step, we want to be able to collect these things. We want something to happen when we move close to it and interact. We want to disappear. Basically, that's it. And then possibly an animation, the VFX animation. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over to our code. Like I mentioned earlier, we use Visual Studio for editing code. This is the code for the collective. So what we're going to add an on trigger enter function. Don't worry about it if it's confusing now. Like I did mention before, once we get into the second mode, we're going to go fully into programming, and then you're going to understand basically all that I'm doing. Right now, I just want to get a little feel of it. So we're going to write code to detect when the player makes contact with the collectible. Okay. I want to achieve this in our scripts here. Hold on. So the on trigger function that I did mention, on trigger function, the special unity function that is called when an object enters a trigger collider zone of another object. We've made this collectible here. Wait, let me click on it. We made it a trigger. By clicking this, we made it have what they call a trigger zone. So now I want to write code that says that let this happen when this other game object enters the trigger zone of this gemstone. That's why we're using the onTrigger function. Okay. So now it's important to note that onTrigger enter, don't worry, I'm saying a lot, but we're going to write the code. Trigger enter is only called if at least one of the objects involved has what you call a rigid body component attached to it. Like say the player object here has a rigid body component, so we don't have to worry. And we're all set. But if you don't, if not, neither of them have rigid body components, whatever we want to do, that function on trigger enter will not be called at all. So let's go back to our script. You can open it from here too, just by double clicking this collectible script. It takes us to Visual. Open your Visual Studio, and then we're here. So, so you come after this, so the ending of your update method, or just before this final calibrate, you're going to impute on trigger enter method. So you're going to say private void on trigger. Yeah. So if your Visual Studio is properly properly installed and set up, you should see some prompts, suggestions. Okay, this is what we're looking for. So can you just click this or tab the first? Why is it not working? Sorry. On trigger. But you didn't prompt me again. Trigger enter. Sorry. Then here we're going to put collider. Other. Don't worry, I might explain a bit. Then this. Wait. All right. Now, I was going to say something. Sorry, I lost my train of thoughts. So any code that you put in between this curly brackets, okay, will hold on. Sorry, let me check something quickly. Our gemstone has okay. All right, so like I was saying, any code that we what is this? Yeah, I think that's fine. On trigger enter. Okay, any code that we put here will take effect if the other game object that enters it triggers one of the game object that will apply this script to, which take effect if the other game object has a rigid body. So now what we want to do, we want to write code that lets this gem game object here disappear. Okay. When another object comes into its trigger zone. So for now, let's just write a comment. Now, comments, like you see, this is a comment. Comments are non-executable lines in your code that serve as notes or explanations. They are crucial for maintaining, like the last class I showed you a very complex, not really complex because you've not seen it before, very complex code for moving this player character, the movement script for it. and I showed you that you could take. I told you could take a look at it. There are a lot of comments that will guide you, even though it might be overwhelming. Then it's just sometimes just good to look at something, so you're better prepared for what comes later on. So comments, they are very crucial for maintaining like clear and understandable code, especially when you're working on complex projects or in or with a team. So here, what we're going to do, we're going to use comments as pseudocode. It's like a practice where we're going to align what the code's intended logic and plain language is before we write the functional code. So yeah. So in C#, comments are marked with this double forward stroke. I think it's called forward stroke. And anything following those two slashes on the same line must be on the same line, are ignored. Okay. Now, let's make a comment. So we're going to come here and put destroy. Or the collectible. Great. Now, next we want to write code that will destroy the collectible. Okay. So go inside. Why is this? Okay, let's ignore that for now. Press enter, and then we're going to write a little line of code. Destroy. Very descriptive. You're already even telling me what to write. Actually, if your Visual Studio is properly set up, you get feedback like this, prompts, suggestions. So you just press tab. You can do it. Yeah, okay, not, and then that's it. That's it. Now, a few things to explain. The game object here, okay, refers to the game object that the script is attached to. Okay, which is in this case is this gem. Okay, yeah. Let's go back. Yeah. Also note that game object starts with a lowercase letter. It's the same thing that we talked about last time when we were talking about camel case with when we define this variable here, rotation speed. Okay, great. Yeah, so let's move now. The reason why, okay, let's not get into that yet. So save your script, Control S, and then let's go and test it out. Over here, why do I keep opening the wrong tabs today? Let it run in the back end and optimize it and whatnot. Compile, and then we play. Come on. Okay. Let's see what happens when we interact with this. It's still here. It means that something is wrong. Let's get back to our code and see what we can correct. On trigger enter. Okay. So usually these mistakes are very little. The one here. There's no way this is spelled wrongly. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Oh, this is it. Why are you showing me this line? This was not beginning. Oh, oh my God. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? How can I make that? Okay, so I think the problem is you sure? Yeah, I think that's it. Let's save and then see what happens. I think that's the problem. Well, let's confirm it first, yeah, and then you can tell later. Hold on, it's busy. Okay, is it and enter back? I can't believe I made that mistake. Okay, sure. Oh, it's gone. Yeah, so it's gone. When we interacted with it, it disappeared. The collectible game object. Oh, that's very annoying. I can't believe I actually no wonder it was shouting at me since I used a small letter for a function. Anyways, let's move on. So you probably noticed that when collecting the object, this uh it was not very satisfying. We didn't get a very satisfying effect. I did mention before that we're going to include some visual animation so that when you interact with it and collect it, is some animation that shows that okay, yes, we have done that. Because right now when we played it, we just went through it and it disappeared. So want it to be so that when a player accomplishes something, there should be like some kind of visual feedback to make that okay. Now simple visual effects, VFX simple visual effects like puffs or smoke or probably mini explosions, like a good way to provide visual feedback. And in Unity, you can use what you call a particle system to simulate um, complex visual effects such as fire, smoke, or a burst of spark. Let's get rid of this. We're not using this anymore. Okay. A burst of spark. Okay, so what we're going to do, come over here into Essentials. There's already been some VFX provided for us in the sets from Unity Essentials. Okay, so go to prefabs and then let's look for VFX. There is, sorry, VFX. Great. So you can double click each of them to preview. Click play, yeah. Boom. That's one. And this, double click. This is prefab editing mode. Okay, let's get out of this one first. Double click this. Boom. That's it. Next. This one looks okay. Post. Float up. Scatter. Float up. Maybe we'll use float up. I think float up looks cool. Okay. So we're going to use float up. Not bad. Okay, so exit this. And then what we're going to do first, we're going to come over here, go to our code, and we're going to create a new variable for that particular system, for that animation. Okay. Now, like I said before, variables store data, okay, that you can reference and manipulate in your code. For example, we made this variable here, float variable for rotation speed of the for our gemstone collectible, like we did in the previous tutorial, in the previous class. Now, variables are not limited to numbers. Then here we use a float, which is like a decimal number. It can be any data type. You can even have game object variables. Okay. And we're going to create a variable of this type, game object, to reference our chosen particle effects prefab. Okay. And then later on, we'll be able to reference and then spawn it in our scene. Okay. So come down below this rotation speed here, enter, and then you're going to type in this public. Wait, hold on. Okay. Let's fix this. Public game object on collect effect. It has to be descriptive. What happens when it's collected? That's an on collect effect. You can name the variable whatever you want. Okay. I think something like this makes sense. Yeah. You want this variable to hold a reference to particle effect. So save your script, Control S, Control X. Now because it's public, we're going to see it somewhere here. Let this finish doing what it's doing. Great. Click on our collectible gem. Let's name this as collectible. Yeah. You can also do your renaming from here too. So you put to enter. Yeah, so Unity has a lot of ways to, a lot of alternative ways of doing things. So if you come down here, you're going to see on collect effect. Can you see that? Yeah, so come here, click this, and then we can now look for, I think it's float up with pics, right? Float up, F-L-O-A-T. Sorry. Hey, that's, yeah, it was on scene, that's why I didn't know. So we're searching for scenes instead of normal assets. So, because it floats up, let me just float up. Yeah, that's the deal with custom, what's it called? Custom components. Okay, unlike the one that are provided by Unity, like this lightning. I mean, like mesh render. Sorry, these are properties. Like, no, these are components. Like mesh render, mesh filter, transform. Like this one's provided by Unity. This, like the one we created, can be edited. You know, like we've done. So we've assigned the chosen particle effect to the game object. Okay. Now what we need to do next is we want to instantiate that particle. Instantiating an object in Unity means like creating a copy of it during runtime. You know, while the application is running, by runtime. Like you also We also hear people say like it's like making an instance of that um, of a prefab in our scene, okay, or that object in our scene. But since we're Unity and we're talking about prefabs, so you're making an instance of the prefabs in our scene. So let's come here. So now, just like transform the rotate method that we did use here, yeah, use earlier, it required x, y, z because we're talking about three-dimensional. It's three-dimensional, so it required x, y, z. Remember, we messed around with only the y-axis, so that it's the object be rotating along the vertical axis. Yeah, x, y, z. So the instantiate method also requires certain information for it to execute, uh, for it to execute again. And like this is separated by commas. Specifically, we need to provide which object to instantiate. That's one. Two, the position of the instantiated object. Two, and three, the rotation of the instantiated object. So we have been able to um, connect this variable. Okay, so I didn't mention this before. Okay, I don't even know if I mentioned it. Connect this variable here. No, sorry, not this. This one here on collect effect to our VFX or animation by look at it here on collect effect. Okay, we're going to add it to. By doing this, we've connected this to our variable here. Yeah, okay. So now we need to instantiate that animation, that effect. So you come over here to your on trigger method. Just after this, we're going to put a comment into instantiate the particle. Sorry, the particle. What's wrong with me today? Effect. Great. Then under it, we're going to have this. Like I mentioned before, don't worry about all the grammar we're using here or it's the same word. Instantiate. Oh, they even prompted me. Collect effect. That's not all. Then. This is not enough. So we're going to say transform the position and then transform something wrong. No, rotation. Great. Now, okay, so something to take note of. Since this entire code defines properties of whatever game object, or in this case, the collectible. Transform here, okay, refers to the transform alone, okay, refers to the position, scale, and rotation of this particular collectible game object that we're applying to, which is this gem. Okay, so it takes all that information and it's what we're using here. But in this sense, we're collecting only its position, and then here the same. We're collecting the rotation. Like I did mention before, that this instantiate method requires three parameters. Okay, the first is what object am I going to instantiate, which we say, okay, it's collect effects, which is the animation game object that we connected to it here, this VFX floater. Okay, if you cannot remember this. Great. So we go back. And then another thing that it's asking for is the position of the instantiated object, which we did by collecting the position of this gemstone, which is this position. Okay, great. Then lastly, it's asking for, hold on, where is it? Why do I, what am I doing? That's asking for the rotation of it, which is also here in the transform component. It's one of the properties here. Good. So provided with all that, and then satisfied all the questions. We've called it, provided them the object it wants to instantiate, which is this, and then for position and rotation. Save your Control S to save. Now, don't worry if this all of these are confusing. Like I said, right now what you're doing, we're just editing scripts. So this we wrote this from, I won't say from scratch. We edited um, the default. We edited it. Okay, when we created it, there was some default code that was provided to us, and we edited it. But don't worry, like I said, a lot of things might feel overwhelming now. Like you might be like, "What's all this?" And then this. But don't worry, later on in second month, the second part of the course, because we're going to jump into programming proper, and then we're going to mess around with that part. So save your script, and then let's get back to okay. Then we're going to enter play mode and then see what happens. Okay, hopefully no bugs this time. No silly mistakes. Let's see what we can go achieve from this. So go back, boom. That's the animation. Easy. Yeah, it's that easy. That's the animation. That's all. So next we're going to create an interesting part of collective. Right now we only have one. Okay. And now that everything is completely functional, we want to populate our scene here with uh, more of these collectibles. Okay. So I'm going to show you, providing some little tips there, probably something you would not talked about before. So let's get a different view of this. Sorry, the environment. Sorry. Yeah, should I click this? Frame it properly, albeit, and then. So let's switch to top view with Y, clicking Y axis, zoom in a bit, please. Use your move to pan to position this better. Okay, we want to do this here, so let's get a better view. Great, and then switch to change your rotation from perspective to asymmetric. Please, I like doing this, although you can still stay here and get the same. Why is this not looking from? This doesn't look straight. This thing too small. I'm wondering whether the collectible is too small. Maybe it was. Let's scale it up a bit because it looks really small. It looks really small. So pick your scale to short for that is, remember, QWER. It's R. R is for scale. T is rect. We've not talked about this. We need to talk about it later. Oh, not in this lecture. So come here and make sure that it's chained. Okay, so make sure you chain it so that when we're adjusting one side of it, other sides will adjust uniformly. Okay. So you come here, I want to increase it because it's too small. I think this is fine. Let's see now. I think it's fine now. Okay, so let's get back. What were we going to? We wanted to populate. I think it's just the look of it. It looks odd. Alright. So we're not going to go into our symmetric view. Let's just leave it in perspective. Hold on. Let me check something. Yeah, we are. Leave it perspective because it looks odd right now. We don't want to make it look more odd. Great. So select your move tool. Selected. Click on this. Control D. Control D is to duplicate. You might not see anything happening here, but if you come over here, you can see collectible. Now we have collectible 1. Okay. The reason why you can't notice anything here because it's at the same position, okay, as collectible. Collectible and collectible 1 are the same position. To confirm that, you come here, check this, look at this, and then if you click this one, it's the exact same thing. Okay, great. Now, want to populate this with a lot of collectibles. So we're going to move this along. Boom. Then we have to. Okay. You can also duplicate it, Control D, and then move it along this way too. Okay. But like I said, I'm going to show you something that we haven't done before. The reason is this: we want to have an equal length, equal spacing from one collectible to another. Doing that will be very difficult. You have to be measuring, and it's not even going to be possible. Well, it's possible now. I can do that. Now I'm not going to stress myself to do that. So we want something. We do that. It's going to take hours, a lot more time. We do not have. So we want to be able to get even spacing. Okay, along and between each collector. Let's delete this one first. Okay, because we're going to start from scratch. So delete with your delete key. Delete this. Then come over here. And then press Control D. Now, we're going to have equal spacing. Okay. You're going to hold on your Control button and then you drag. Can you see that? This provides equal spacing. It enables what you call snapping. Yeah, snapping. SNAPPING. So you can place the collectible at fixed increments, okay, along a chosen axis. Like if maybe we picked an our x axis, we can pick either x or z, or like the spacing is fixed, okay, fixed, yeah. So now we're going to repeat this process until we have it populated around the shrimp. So okay, but I don't know why it looks really odd. Okay, so Control D, Control down, spacing. This is too much. It's too much. What happened? Oh, sorry. Control D. Wait, be careful not to. Okay, that's not important. Don't worry about it. Hold on your control, and then why is it? It's not perfectly. Oh, I see what happened. We want it to be. Let me see what's up with this guy. Framing, is it into the ground? It's not. That could be the problem. Axis and then Control D. So, oh, there's already one in there. Hold down Control and you pull it. Why is it doing that? It's off. So I think something wrong. How many are we here? Draw and pull. Why is it not working out? Control D, hold down control. Let's repeat this. Something is wrong. This is not happening. So give me a moment. Let me try to sort this out. I don't know what to. It's not pulling. Mm, Control D. Sorry for the noise. Control D. Duplicate. And then distance is too much. What happened? Let's just work with that. I don't know what happened, but it has chosen to pick its own distance. It's crazy. Anyway, so we're going to work with that clock time. I'll check out what the problem is later on and I'll let you know. So control D, get more of that. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. But one is missing from it. Okay, no problem. Oh, yeah, I entered perspective isometric view, just in case you guys are wondering why it looks like this. Okay. Control D, and then I pull this up. D again, pull this up, holding down control. Yeah, we have decent amounts. Correct. Let's just add one more column. Row. D, this, D, this. Okay. All right. So let's play and see where. Let's look at the animation and see whether we can collect more. You can increase the collectibles as much as you like, decorate, and a lot more. So you can see that works perfectly. Great. There's something I wanted to test. Our player objects can cause this game, cause a gem to disappear. Okay, showing that we've collected it. But what about other game objects now? See, let's see what happens when we mess around with other game objects. So let's see. Over here. Let's collect. Say we're still in play mode. Yeah, remember you can make changes even when you're in play mode. Go ahead. Let's take this chair. Sorry. What's happening? Frame it. Take it up. Okay, yeah. This table is preventing me from carrying. What's happening? It's my mouse. So let me disconnect and connect back. For some reason, I can probably do this. Yeah. I cannot. It's buggy. There's something wrong with my mouse. Sorry. I'll have to change that. That's probably why. Let me get out of this first. Probably why I could not get this spacing. I had to get something increased instead. So we're going to test and see whether uh, other game objects can cause that effect to instantiate the game object to disappear. So we're going to carry this here, bring it closer, we even rotate it. So we want to fall. But we're entirely sure that it's on top. I think this is fine. So I want to see and be able to tell whether other game objects can cause the gems to disappear when they come in contact with it. So play. Let's see. Yeah, so it does, which is not what we want to achieve. We only want the player to be able to collect the objects, not other um, game objects like stools, chairs, sofas, and a lot more to be able to interact with it. So we have to change that, and we will change it right now. Let's repose it. Okay, let's do chair here first. So we want to restrict collisions to the player only. Yeah, better way to put it. Now, to sorry, I lost my trail of thoughts. So the logic is this: when an object with a rigid body collides with any of the gemstones, okay, if that object is a player, then destroy the gemstone and spawn the particle effect. Yeah, that's basically logic. And to do that, let's come over to our come over here to our scripts. We're going to use what's called if statement to check if a certain condition is true. And if the condition is true, then we continue to execute the code. Okay. We're going to apply a feature in Unity called tags to identify the player game object. So I think it's best we come over here first. So you're going to come over, select the player game object. Is this sword and triangle? And then come over here. Your inspector window. Click on this drop down here. It's on tag. Don't worry about every other thing that's here. We're going to come and say add tag. Hold on. Sorry, I think I missed something. I think I missed something. I'm sorry. I think I missed something. player. Not add tag, it's player. Click on player, not add tag. Yeah. I know today I'm forgetting a lot of things. I don't know why. My notes are not helping me. I didn't make proper notes. Okay, so we go back to our script. We've added a player here as tag. Okay, and we're going to reference that in our script. And you see it practically, then probably get a little understanding of it for a month. So come down here, and then we're going to do this right. This if, okay, if statement. Get this. Don't worry, forget about the scary red line. So we're going to change that. So if order dot compare tag, don't worry about that. Compare tag. And we're going to say player. Okay. If you don't use demonstration, you use single quotes, it won't work for some reason. I don't know why. If you use double quotes, it works perfectly. Okay. Alright, so just in case you do that and you're wondering where your error is coming from, although it would prompt you there, yeah, or the error is written, just in case. So remember, okay, I'm saying this once again. This entire code, okay, defines properties of the game object or collectible we're going to apply script to. So order here, okay, refers to another object, okay, that would collide, because order is on trigger, that will collide with the game object that we apply. We apply the script to in this sense, it's our gem game object is this. So going back, the order refers to what the other game object, okay. Sorry, moment. Right, alarm. Shut it off. Okay, so now what this compare tag and player means, it says that if the other game object, okay, if the other game object that collides with me has this player tag, okay, we're trying to be specific here. We gave our player here this tag player, okay. So if we're saying if the other game object has the player tag, then execute the code inside. Okay, for some reason it stopped the live stream and I think it started again. Okay, so like I was saying, I don't know why it stopped. I hope the other video recorded because I've talked for a while. And okay, so let's go back. Done. Let's share it. Finish it. Should be a problem. Come out here. So, like I was saying, like I said, I'm saying now again, repeating. Um, guys, give me like a few seconds. I'm just trying to make sure that this thing is like properly live stream. Okay, let's get back. Like I said, um, what this entire statement is saying is that if the other game object, okay, the other game object that collides with me has this tag player, then execute the code inside this bracket. Okay, and we've given our player game object a tag of player. Okay, great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy this code, the code for deleting. Okay, copy this with the comments. Sorry, Control X, cut, and paste it actually. Yes. Now with this, even if any other game of any game object with a rigid body, okay, does not have this player tag, we will not be able to instantiate this uh, instantiate the particle animation. Sorry, okay, we also have to add this because we don't want any other object to be deleting our gemstones, collectible. Great. I don't know, I'm forgetting a lot of things today. So save, Control S, save. And then we're going to come here and allow it to compile, run your backend or whatever. And then we'll play and see what happens. I believe we still have our seat position there. Yeah. So let's see if the seats would cause this gemstone to disappear or okay. Let's see. Drop. Nothing happened. For clarity's sake, we can go to our scene view and then move around to check properly. You can see that it's on it, nothing's happening. Okay, great. So, I believe we're done for today. Okay, this is messy. So let us just declutter this. It's messy. And we're not going to have any free space to create anything new. If you want to, like we did in previous lessons. So come here, hold down Shift, select everything, and then come and create an empty parent. I'm going to call it collectibles. Enter. That's it. Then I just click this triangle. And then that's it. I can create any object, 3D object, anything you want to create easily, and it will appear here and in your scene. Okay, so we're done for today. Congratulations for following me to the end of this class. Sorry for the technical issues here and there. My audio. Hope my audio is on. My audio on. Oh, okay, great. Fine. Sorry for technical issues and a lot more. Okay, so let's review a few things that we've learned. We learned how to set up a collider. Okay, the trigger instead of a physical body, and that's easy. We just came over here. Let me show you. Came over here, and in our box collider, we just click this. Very easy. Okay. Last thing we learned, we went to apply an on-trigger enter function to detect collisions with other objects. You can see it here in our code. On-trigger enter function. I made a mistake earlier, but a very silly one by using a small letter O instead of capital letter. Yeah, that's caused a lot of issue. It caused an issue that we're able to solve. Thank God. Sometimes these bugs they can be so issue they might be so little, and then because they're little, it's hard to to discover, and yeah, they have. So we also learned how to apply the function to detect collisions with other objects. That's your trigger function, detect collision with other objects. Next, we wrote comments to describe each block of code. Destroy the collectible, instantiate the particle effect. These were here by default, so we didn't write that. We wrote this one here. So and we learned how to apply this destroy function, okay, to destroy the game object, to remove the game object from the scene, okay, when other game object came with a rigid body came in contact with it. We also learned how to use the code complete feature, autocomplete feature, or Visual Studio IDE. Yeah, like I said, if yours is not properly set up, you're not going to see that. And that's the case, just how do you reach me? Make a comment in the channel, and then I'll probably reply it and tell you how to solve it if that's the case. Okay. We also learned explain how to use VFX, visual effects, to give visual feedback. Remember earlier on when we were using our player to interact with these stones, gemstones, they were disappearing, but it wasn't it wasn't fun. It's really boring. Okay. There was no this visual feedback that was required was not there. Okay, so we need to add that. We learned how to apply instantiate function to spawn um, instances of the prefab in our scene. Prefab, that's for the animation. Okay, from here, where is it? Instantiate. Okay, of course, we know the parameters required, and we're able to achieve this by connecting this variable here to, where is it? Okay, yeah, to the animation. Okay, VX. Okay. We don't have to apply snapping with our move to get even spaces between each collectible. We applied our if statements to control logic and the flow of the script, which is here. If, okay, and we apply tags to game objects to identify them in the script. Where is it? Our player game object, sorry. Yeah, give the tag player. Yeah, so that's all. See you guys next class. Have a nice day and weekend. All right, thanks. It's a message. Okay. So stop live stream. Thank you guys.